It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
My buddy Chris Schuler coming on the podcast today because my Kelly's What Are You Into dove into a world that he's familiar with, so I needed some expert analysis on it. We'll talk to him in just a moment. Before that, though, I have a memo to Google News. This is where I read my news stories in the morning. I've talked about it on the podcast before. I'm not a newspaper guy, but I do love catching up on news stories in the early morning hours with my cup of coffee, like the old man that I am. I love it. But Google News is different. They have the tab where you can look at the big headlines from across the globe, right? The big stories. But I go to the For You page, and the For You page on Google News siphons out all of the real stuff for me anyways, and it gives me the things that I'm into, like my tech news, my sports news, my video game news, my fast food news, right? And when those worlds hit, they make it right into my Google News feed. The word algorithm, back when I was young, the word algorithm was terrible because all that meant was I was doing calculus or pre-calc or algebra or something like that. I was in the math world and I was hating life. Now algorithm just means I'm on social media or I'm on Google News. It's very weird how that word has changed in the last 20-some years. We really claimed that word as social media users. Math people have to be pissed off about that. A word that they loved so much. Oh, the algorithm. We need to sine, cosine, tangent, the algorithms. And now it's like, no, man, algorithm is about trick shots. So take that, math. Anyways, I love to look at my Google News stuff. My Google News For You page is great, but I made a terrible mistake at the end of 2023, and now I'm going to need some help. Biebers, I need you to make a call on your relationship because you are dominating my Google News feed. Dominating it. If I go there right now, I'm going to have 4 or 5 stories. Apparently, at the end of 2023, I took the bait on the Stephen Baldwin story where he said there's trouble in paradise. I clicked that TMZ link, and since that moment, Google News has said, here you go, Bieber fan. Everything you need to know about the drama, potential drama in their relationship, you have, and I click all of it. I'm deep into this, all right? Bieber posted over the weekend pictures of himself crying. Oh, my gosh. Is there trouble in paradise? Is it over? Is the relationship done? The very next day, Haley and Justin both post pictures of the other person on their stories. So apparently things are great. What's going on? Are you separating? Are you staying together? What was Stephen Baldwin talking about? Let me know. Met Gala's coming up. Who's Haley going to be at the Met Gala with in a couple weekends? Is she going to go with Bieber or is she going to go with the Kardashians? We can't wait and find out. We're 2 weeks away from the big decision. I clicked on a link today that said this. This is the exact headline. Justin Bieber's teary-eyed selfie decoded by body language expert. I clicked on that headline today. I'm not proud of it, but I did it. And I learned that this body language expert is saying, ooh, she thinks there's trouble in paradise. This single tear that Bieber let out has been held inside forever. It wasn't like he was just releasing a tear. It was like he has so many inside of him. It forced its way out of his eye. Pretty heavy stuff. I need the Biebers to make a decision on their relationship because I want my timeline back. I want NBA playoff articles, NHL playoff articles. I want to know what the next best fast food menu item at Jack in the Box is going to be. I need those back, but I'm not going to get them back until the Biebers are either separated or happily married. So Google News, Biebers, let's get back on the same page. I want my stuff back. I need my Anthony Edwards dunks back in my timeline. All right, before we get to Schuler, is Anthony Edwards the greatest thing in sports right now? Yes. The answer is yes. I know Ellie De La Cruz, an hour and change away from me right now in Cincinnati, has kind of taken baseball by storm, but I'm not in baseball mode quite yet. I know the NHL playoffs are going full force, and I guarantee you there's a lot of cool stories in that. But Anthony Edwards is dunking on people, blocking shots at the rim, making huge three-pointers. He is talking trash to every single person on the court for the opposing team. He is the best thing going in the NBA right now. And that's a good thing. I say that in a good way. You know, sometimes you get to a point where your sports league, oh, this is the best thing going in the league, and it's not that great. Right now for the NBA, they've got a lot of good stuff going. They've got a lot of good things, especially in the playoffs. right? You had Jalen Brunson over the weekend, who was fantastic in Philadelphia, and Knicks fans take over Philadelphia, the entire city of Philadelphia. You got the Nuggets doing their thing. Lakers get a win. Can they come back from 3-1? Who knows? You get the sweep. Well, that's part of the Anthony Edwards, but you get the sweep there. You've got the Mavs and the Clippers. Kyrie with one of the most crazy layups I've ever seen in my life. So the league's in a good spot, and Anthony Edwards is at the top, just dominating. I mean, his highlight package for this season is insane. His highlight package for the playoffs is insane. He's great for basketball. He's great for this time of year, and I'm very excited to see him moving forward and get to see him either against the Lakers or the Nuggets. I would love, as much as I'm not cheering necessarily for the Nuggets to win that series, I kind of want to see him talking trash to Jokic because that's going to be fun stuff. Jokic is hilarious. Their interactions will be wonderful. Next round. Give me back my NBA playoffs, Google News. Okay, let's do it. Kelly's, what are you into?
Kelly's, what are you into?
I got into this weirdly. I think Thomas Middleditch. Is that how you say his name? Thomas Middleditch, the guy from Silicon Valley. I peek in on his YouTube page from time to time because he does some funny video game stuff. He gets into the role-playing servers for Red Dead Redemption 2 and Grand Theft Auto, and I think he's very funny on those. But he had posted some videos of him flying his very nice prop plane, and they were just videos of him flying, and videos of the cockpit, videos of the look out at the panel in front of him outside. They're really cool. And so then algorithm, my YouTube feed started showing me other professional videos of people filming out of their prop planes, their smaller planes. And they're amazing. It's flying over forests, flying over lakes, flying over cities with super high def cameras. And it's really relaxing and quite breathtaking. And so I'm very much into it. So I thought I need to call somebody I know who flies small planes. And so I called Chris Schuler, who is big time at Universal Music Group, but he took some time out of his Sunday night to field a phone call from me. Here he is.
Dude, your contact photo is amazing.
I don't even know what it is.
Is it, are you long jumping?
Oh, that is. Yeah.
You look
me.
like you're probably 12 years old.
Yeah, that's me as a little tiny child doing the long jump as a 4th or 5th grader, just crushing it.
My brother actually did long jump. He won state in high school.
What?
Like multiple years in a row.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I can't hop over a tennis ball, but my older brother can jump like no one's business.
Schuler, okay, I was going to give you this whole thing and say, okay, we're about to hit record, but I have to put that in there because it's too cool. You are one of the most interesting people. By the way, this is the one of the most popular people in all of Nashville. You cannot leave. He cannot, dude, you can't be out with Chris Schuler and not have 50 million people come up and say hi. He's way up there at Universal Music Group Nashville. I think he runs the whole thing, something like that. But mainly he's my favorite Middle Tennessee State University Blue Raider. Schuler, thanks for making time tonight.
Dude, happy to. I'm probably the only Middle Tennessee State Blue Raider that you know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
That's not true.
I sat here and I was like, who else? You have to have somebody from that university that did something outside of just you. I mean, you obviously have done a lot. So are you the only one?
No, Summer, Fediani, Sally.
Oh, wait, so all the music people went to Middle Tennessee State?
Yeah.
No way.
It's primarily, it's music, or I should say music business, aerospace, and concrete management. One little trifecta there.
Wow, that's cool. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm bothering you. You're watching TV. There's nothing I hate more than when someone bothers me when I'm watching TV, so that's what I'm doing to you right now. Schuler, you are one of the most interesting people that I know. Obviously, you just told me your brother won state in long jump. You are into so many things. Every time I talk to you, you're into something new. You're one of the best musicians that I know. You played piano at one of the most extravagant weddings I've ever been to in my life, and you did it effortlessly. It was phenomenal for the whole thing. You're just crushing it on piano. You're amazing. But you also fly planes. And I don't know the right way to do this because I don't want to undersell it where people go, oh, you fly planes. Do you fly for Delta or American or whatever it might be? You fly smaller planes, but I don't want to make that sound lame. Like, oh, you fly little planes.
It's definitely a little different flying a small plane than a big plane. there's less autopilot buttons too.
Okay. Well, I've been intrigued with this all of a sudden. I've fallen into a YouTube rabbit hole where I'm watching way too much high-def videos of people filming from their cockpit with them taking off and picture like video of all the I don't know what you even call it, the panel in front of you, and then of course all the stuff that happens when you take off and land. I can't get enough of it, Schuler.
There's one guy I started following on Instagram. He's got, I think, 2 cameras inside the cockpit. He's got one under each wing. Like that, I don't know that I would want to fly with a camera underneath all my wings, but he documents every single trip he goes on and all of the viewpoints that he has. And he flew into not far from you at CBG recently, and one of his videos got a lot of views on it because there was a dead owl or something, like a dead bird in the middle of the runway where 2 runways intersected.
No way.
Like, yeah, he got a lot of it on video, so it's like, oh. But yeah, there's so many pilots right now that are just documenting everything that they do, and a lot of it's instructional.
Okay.
So like things to do, things not to do, and those kinds of sorts.
It's just weird.
But yeah, that's basically all my Instagram feed is nothing but flying stuff now. Since I started doing this.
I love it. Well, it's weird because, I'm so used to thinking of flying as I want to get from point A to point B, get in the airplane, sit down, read my book, watch my movie, and land. And then you watch these videos and you go, it seems so awesome and beautiful and cool. And this is just me watching it on my TV in the basement. Schuler, is it just like a breathtaking feeling to fly around the world?
So what's crazy, my second flight lesson ever, so we practice east of Nashville, which means when you come back into Nashville, you have to fly due west. Okay. And it happens to be on like a Friday at 5 or 6 o'clock, and it was at sunset. So my second flight lesson ever, he said, you see the sun, just aim for it. Like, okay. And you're just watching the sun go down from, 4,000 feet.
Man.
Like, this is pretty fantastic. But I don't know if you were ever this way. I got this from my dad. I enjoy driving.
Yeah.
So if it's been a long day, I'll just get in the car, take the top off the Jeep, and just go somewhere.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily have a destination. And what I think I've enjoyed most about this is flying feels a lot like that.
Dude, so I love that. That's one of my favorite things is to get in the car and drive. And I miss my Jeep because it was the favorite of mine. Get in the woods and just drive somewhere and turn the music on, or even have the music off and just take it all in. I think it's spectacular looking. I get very jealous that you get to do this. I did have a question because one of the videos I saw, it looked like a pretty normal, really expensive, but pretty normal prop style plane, but the passenger and the pilot were wearing oxygen tubes. Is that normal?
If you're flying over 10,000 feet, yes.
Okay.
So the air gets really thin, and you have to wear some kind of oxygen mask.
Okay, so that's why they were doing it. They just had the little tubes that looked like they were in a hospital, but way up in the sky. And I thought that's very, very concerning to me. I would never want to be in a situation where I'm in a smaller plane and it requires me to have oxygen to keep me alive. I'm already scared enough to be that high in the air.
Well, there is an exception. That's if your plane is pressurized.
Okay.
If it's pressurized, you don't need to have the oxygen mask. But if you're flying above 10,000 feet, you'll have the oxygen mask.
Okay. Do you fly to big airports, or when you're flying the kind of planes you're flying, are you landing in a lot of these really cool? Because I see a lot of videos where people are landing in really cool, unique, smaller runways.
Yeah. So actually, when I started, what's crazy, didn't really realize this until you can see it from the air, is in Nashville. So you have the different classes of airspace. And Nashville being a bigger airport, you have a lot of these that don't even have like a manned tower. So there are 4 airports within, probably 25 miles of Nashville. And like we started doing takeoff and landing practice called pattern work, where you come into land and you never stop. You just throw the power back on once you hit the ground, and then you go back up and you basically do like a track lap. And we do this over and over. But a lot of these smaller airports, like that's usually where we wind up going. And there are quite a few of them that have like little restaurants right there off the tarmac.
Schuler, it is written on my notes. The reason I asked you that question, I believe the best hidden restaurants in the United States of America are at small airports.
I would not argue that.
Like, obviously
There's
the
one
food,
that's like famous for its pie.
okay, see, obviously the food isn't like, we're not talking 5-star, Michelin chef style restaurants, but these places are cool little cafes, man.
Yeah, it's like the I don't say a dive bar, but it's that family restaurant that's been around forever that they just figured out their recipe and made it perfect.
And there's something cool about it being right there on the airstrip. Like the people who are going to be there, it's just got the vibes on them are right at these little airstrip restaurants. I'm very jealous of that part of flying. Like if I'm going to fly to get a cool hamburger and, like you said, a cool pie at this one spot.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you, Sean. It sounds like you might have enough interest to try this out for yourself.
Dude, I don't have the time. Well, I guess I have the time. I don't have a job right now. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty open besides the kids. I don't think the funds to buy an airplane, Chris.
I don't own an airplane. I basically just rent one if I need one.
So it's like renting a car. You just pull up and you got to be over 25 and you flash them your pilot's license and go, what do you have? What do you have on the lot?
It's a little more complicated. It's not like Emerald Isle at National where you just, do I want the SUV today or do I want this? I'm just going to leave with this and they'll check me out when I go. Well, I mean, that's what's fun is the school that I go through. Like you could essentially rent a plane, and now I have a buddy and coworker who's sending me little Cessnas that are for sale that are not far away. Ooh, this is tempting.
Oh man,
come up to Lexington and take you guys to Ramsey's for the afternoon.
Dude, hey man, I want to get in a plane with you at some point. I don't know if that's ever a thing that's possible, but I think I really mean it when I say that would be something at some point. If you're at the point where you can do that, I would love to get in the plane with you and fly around. I just think it looks so awesome.
Here's what I want to do one weekend.
Yeah.
It's got to be obviously in April or October. I want to fly from Nashville to Lexington. I'll pick you up at the airport. We'll fly over Keeneland.
Yes.
We'll do a couple laps of whatever, land back at Lexington, and then we'll actually go watch the ponies.
Okay, I would love it, man. That'd be awesome.
That's what we should do.
I would love it. I'm intrigued with it. Schuler, you do so many awesome things. It always amazes me every time I get into like something. I feel like I could call you and be like, "How is this in reality?" And you will know because you do all the cool things. I just love it. Real quick before you go, what musical artist does everyone need to be listening to right now? Let's give you the proper plug for wasting 10 minutes of your time.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I don't even work specifically with this artist, but I would probably go Cassie Ashton.
Oh, man. My wife is all about it, too. Dude, that is a person. And I mean, you're very lucky and fortunate. You get to meet everyone and everyone loves you. Meeting her she's one of the coolest people I've met out of Nashville, easily.
I would completely agree. One of the most creative, charismatic, just an utter star.
It's one of those people, you hear stories of movie stars and stuff that are like that. The people say, "Oh, I met actor or actress X," and they're immediately they walked in the room and they took the room by storm. Like they have so much charisma. Everyone wants to talk to them and be around them. That's Cassie. She just walks in a room and everyone is just polarizing. You just need to be around her aura.
Completely agree. I do think she's going to be a star. So
good.
Here's hoping everything lines up quickly.
Good. I love it, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you. Get up here in October for Keeneland. Let's do a little fly around, and then let's go watch the ponies. All right.
Dude, I would love that.
All right, brother. I appreciate you. Thanks for making time.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
See you, pal.
See you, man. Thank you, Schuler, for talking to me. I appreciate it. I'm very interested in the Instagram channel that he was talking about. I'm going to deep dive that, and hopefully, my algorithm is going to switch. I'm going to get my timeline back from the Biebers. I'm going to be further away from the sports headlines that I want, but I am going to be away from the Biebers, and I'm going to be on prop plane mania. So that's where we're heading. Let's read some comments, shall we? By the way, we have some comments. Well, let's do the comments first, because I think there was a couple from the last episode. I think. Let's see here. Let's see what we got. We've got this one right here from Yvonne. 2 things about Zoe. She is 13, and so her mom's mini-me. Also, soccer was her thing for years. Now back to wrestling like her brother. Yeah, her brother does the backyard wrestling thing. Zoe, you could crush it on that. I'm still super intrigued with backyard wrestling. If that found its way into my timeline, I'd be super happy. I'm interested in the soccer thing. I like the kids' soccer because the time, and even as you get older with soccer, the time limit is set at, pretty much an hour and a half. I get worried in the dance world and the track and field world where the events last all day. I like these sports where I get there at 9, I'm done by 10:30. Selfish? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This came off YouTube. It is from Garage Bros Podcast 4794. And it says this. Oh, this was about a video from when Kevin was on. And it said, crazy, haven't heard these two voices in a minute ever since you moved and I'm out of town for work. Missed the Jay and Kevin days with Slim. I appreciate that. If you want to hear more about that, you can go listen to the Patreon episodes. Excuse me. Patreon.com/Sean Widmer Podcast. That is where you can go. And we've got 3 Patreon episodes up, one with Dalton, one with Anna. And then I put one up this weekend with just me talking about all sorts of things. It got, I think, decent reviews. I asked the Patreon members, you can get into Patreon $5 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month, and it gets you access to all these episodes, longer form episodes, where I just kind of rattle off a bunch of stuff. They could be fun. If you like the podcast, you can do that. Also, if you become a Patreon member, the main thing is I appreciate the support. It helps support the channel, helps this podcast keep going. That's the main reason for it. But I did want to make sure there's an option for a little more content. If you wanted some more, you may not want any more. You don't have to listen to them. You can still support this without having to listen to those episodes. But I wanted to make sure there was some stuff there for everyone. And this week we talk about some radio stuff. We talk about my dog, our dog, family dog, Jovi. We talk about some board game stuff. And we talk about NBA. Michael actually texted and said some nice things about the pod. He was like, the radio stuff was interesting. The dog stuff he related with, and it's tough. And then he said I had terrible NBA takes. Fair enough. At some time, I'm going to get a sports take that Michael agrees with, and I can't wait for that. Roberta said this, though. Roberta said this about the Patreon episode. She said losing a pet is a hard thing. We have not lost our pet. If you want to hear more about why this is brought up, go listen to the Patreon episode. But she said losing a pet is a hard thing. The decision of its time is not easy. A good vet will level with you. A good vet that will level with you is a godsend. And she goes on to mention a lot of other nice stuff and talking about a dog they had, Daisy, and it's good stuff. So Roberta, thank you for those. On Patreon, let me see. Kirsten said this for the last episode. I don't know if you're supposed to leave comments here, but this episode had so much tea. We love to see it. And then she talks about pet grief. It's one of the worst things you can endure, so buckle up. Again, our dog is fine. Our dog is fine. She said, also, I have Tabletop Simulator. I've had it for 5 years and played Secret Hitler once on it, but I don't have friends that play board games. We are going to play board games on Tabletop Simulator, Curdy. I'm getting into this. I'm learning how to maneuver it. We're going to do a board game night soon enough. Ian said this on the Patreon. I sent Sean a TikTok showing D&D Beyond is integrated with Discord. No ETA on that. Ian, I think I talked about that. It's the fact is it's going to be available soon for people who are Roll20 or D&D Beyond premium subscribers. I think it's Roll20 that's going to be integrated. So you have to be a premium subscriber on that. Mandy said this. Sorry, Amanda, for calling you Manda. You're Mandy. Anna, I make the same sound, but it's to itch my throat. My wife on her episode shows the worst sound she makes, and she makes it all the time in our house. And Mandy went on to say, you are the only one outside of my family of origin that does that, or at least admits it. Love listening to you guys talk and banter with love, kindness, and respect. You can go listen to the episode with my wife up there. Again, patreon.com/Sean Widmer Podcast. The support is appreciated, and hopefully you can enjoy the long-form podcasts that are hidden there behind the Patreon paywall. Thank you for listening today. I hope your week starts out well. Talk to you on Wednesday.